Hi everybody, here I am in Albuquerque and I'm with Paul. You might remember Paul because last time I was in Albuquerque we met around 5 in the morning and we put his video on invisiblepeople.tv, and it wasn't invisiblepeople.tv that helped Paul get into housing, because we're in his apartment, which is amazing. It was 100,000 homes and the Albuquerque coalition working together to you know, get people off the streets, and just truly amazing. Now, I was the one that did this survey that morning, and I was telling Paul, because it was almost by accident and we ran into him, because all this other stuff happened and we were supposed to be all over town, and we ended up downtown, and we were able to survey him and do his interview. So give us an update of what happened since I met you. Oh gosh, how long was it?
That was in February, early February?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you remember, you told me you were sleeping under stairs, and you know, cold was your alarm clock, you know.
Well, I mean, yeah, it was definitely a wake-up call. That, you definitely had to make sure you were going to keep busy as soon as you got up in order to stay warm.
Right.
A lot of times people think that being homeless is something that's pretty laid back, and it really isn't.
Right.
I mean, you have to be on your toes, and you better have your wits. That's all I could say.
Yeah.
You know.
So now tell me what happened. It was several months ago. It was last winter, actually.
Well, a lot happened between now and then. I mean, I went through some kind of legal situation which had something to do with me being homeless out there and misunderstood. But that's all behind me, and then by the time I was done with that, I went to a place called ALC, which is a men's shelter, and there was a director there that...
Well, you actually had forgotten that you'd taken the survey. You just thought it was another...
I just wrote it off.
Yeah.
You know, I just figured that was just going to be something that wasn't going to happen for me.
Yeah.
So, you know, I was just going to go about my life and go back into my routine as normal. Only it was going to be summertime maneuvers.
Yeah.
You know, which is, believe it or not, the summer is the worst.
Right? Why?
Well, because it's hot, it's nasty, and you're running from the sun.
Oh yeah.
In the wintertime, it's the opposite way around. You're clinging to the sun, but there's more places to go inside, which makes it a little bit more forgiving. You know what I mean? More shelters are available.
Right, right. There's more service.
In the summer, there's not. You know what I mean? You're
makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a different.
Places like Arizona and Texas.
The elements,
a lot of people died this summer in Texas.
The elements are different, you know, in the summer. And,
so anyways, you forgot about it and you went into some place.
Yeah, and then one of the directors, Robert, I forgot his last name, he mentioned that he told me who he was and what they were going to do for me, and he told me to stick around, make myself available for the next 4 months, and, you know, watch things happen.
Well, they were looking for you. They just weren't able to find you.
Well, you know, like I said, I had some legalities. Is what kept me detained, and that's probably why they couldn't find me. You know, lost in the system, the legal system.
Right, and on the streets, you're not.
No, you're not really available. You know, I had a community voicemail, but you know, somehow, somewhere, maybe it got lost through the shuffle. I don't know.
And we hooked you up with that community. Well, 100,000 homes. The city of Albuquerque actually did.
Oh,
tried to find you.
That voicemail has helped me out tremendously for medical, for all kinds of different things. They recently shut it off me. I guess they figured I don't need it anymore, which I really don't. I've got my own home phone and.
Yeah, because you're in housing.
So I could be contacted and make contact, but that was the main thing with that. It was great. It was great service.
Now, for those of you that don't know the 100,000 homes and what it is, they come in and do a vulnerability index, which basically they survey the homeless population to see who has the worst medical issues and who really needs housing. And it's not, you know, anybody's better than each other. It's really just look at it. It's common sense. Is that, you know, here's the people that are closest to death, so they need it. They need housing to get their life back together. It also frees up other resources, because those people that are using medical emergency rooms and paramedics also you know, cost taxpayers money. And the more those resources free up, we can house the other people. So the reason, Paul, you had some medical injuries, brain injuries.
Yeah, that was due to the fact that I was robbed about 13 years ago and received some contusions in my head, about 72 stitches.
Yeah. And because of that, you know, he, you know, qualified, if you will, that living on the streets is it's dangerous for everybody, but those that suffer from serious medical conditions, it's even worse. So tell me about getting your furniture and moving in here. I mean, you got a rocking pad, you know. What did it feel like?
Oh, it's great. Every day, you know, I try to add more things to give it more atmosphere so I could be proud of where I'm at and want to remain here and stay proud.
Yeah. Well, it's very cool. I know, you know, when I first got my first place, I went and had everything delivered that one day. I waited forever and ever. It was one of the best days of my life because I actually stayed in a shelter system another year so I could save money. And then I just went and got all this stuff, unlocked my apartment door, my first apartment, and then by the end of the day, my couch was delivered and everything. It was really cool. So, one of the things that we were talking about, somebody played you the InvisiblePeople.tv video that morning.
Yes, Lance Hemington of St. Martin's. He's, I guess, a coordinator over there, like an advocate for the homeless.
Now, what'd you think? I mean, seeing yourself on the streets, homeless.
Gee, that was a while back. You know, I remember those days. I mean, how could I not? I mean, it was such a far cry from what it is now.
Right. Right. And what'd you think about the video? I mean, being raw and edited and just you.
I thought it was done very well. You know what I mean? There was no cheap shots or, you know, any editing to make me look stupid or anything like that. So when I saw that, it gave me more incentive to go through with this.
Wow. Very cool.
It was done professionally.
Yeah. Well, it's to give us, the homeless people, dignity. The whole site is for us. So dude, this is awesome. I am so, I'm ending this road trip on a very high note, and even though it wasn't the InvisiblePeople.tv video that housed it like it has with Donnie and a few others in the past, I mean, oh my gosh, you know, thanks to 100,000 Homes and thanks to the great people of Albuquerque and all the organizations that were involved. Albuquerque, I think it's, I forget the actual name, I'll put a link to the video, but you know, we can get people off the streets, we can save lives, and in doing so, we save money. So support 100,000 Homes, support the organizations in your community that is actually getting people off the streets into housing and maintaining housing. One of the things me and Paul were talking about is that often, not often, most of the time, when you put somebody into housing, that's just the beginning. And Paul was very independent and very, you know, had friends and social structure. So often, you know, the battle starts when you get into housing. Was it a weird experience for you?
It wasn't anything that I didn't remember. It was like riding a bike after you haven't rode one in a while. Yeah. Just that some things have a way of coming back to you. Yeah. You know, anticipation, little small struggles that make it worth having your place to live. You know, that's why it's home. You know, you make it. Yeah. You work at it. Yeah.
Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you for supporting InvisiblePeople.tv, and thank you for supporting 100,000 Homes and all the organizations that are having a real impact getting people off the streets.